big new series coming from Baron 310
No,
Comanche
Baron Pilot.
All right, in the hangar. Welcome to In the Hangar, our special Oshkosh 2022 edition of In the Hangar. I'm Christy Wong.
And I'm Dan Milliken. We are filming this at the FlyingSIC booth, and we are on tape delay, so this was way back in Airventure. We had the excitement and everything going on here, and still bringing you this content. We're sponsored by FlyingSIC, whose booth we're at, and if you use our discount code, you get 10% off of great regular glasses and sunglasses.
We're also sponsored by Colton Mortgage, that's coltontakingoff.com, as well as Marshall Protective Services.
MPS protects. Okay, so yeah, my Baron 310 slip will always follow
I am
me
never
wherever I
going to
go.
let him live that down. If you guys want to know, we have our old episode with Baron Pilot.
Season 1.
Season 1, yeah, exactly.
Season 1, and we're now that we're into season 2, we get to bring Christopher and Kim back. Guys, thank you so much for agreeing to come back, even though I don't even know your names.
Oh my gosh.
I was told you weren't going to be here. It's the only reason why I agreed.
Well, good to surprise you, you know. So, let's just jump right into it. You guys have been busy, and what's new in the Baron world?
So we actually just launched. I'm pretty excited. You know, it's been 4 years in the making, and Kim has finally started her private pilot training.
Woo!
And so I'm doing a series on Kim and her training. But the series is different than anything you've ever seen. She's actually never watched any of the videos as they're being edited.
You've never watched them?
No, I did not want to see myself and relive that again and traumatize myself.
I understand.
And realize that was not a good scene for me. But I'm excited. I didn't want to focus on that. It's not about the videos. It's not about how I felt. To me, it was about getting the training done.
Yeah,
and that's what I
absolutely.
needed to focus on.
Well, I like the idea of getting in the head of a student.
Yeah, so what makes this video different than every other flying video you've ever seen with a student pilot is typically when a video is being done, right, it's either from one of two perspectives. It's like a sporties video where you're learning to fly.
Step one.
Which is step one, which is fantastic, right?
Right.
And that's needed. That's
Right,
definitely
absolutely.
a necessary video for people to watch, right? Or it's someone's doing it from their perspective. I'm learning to fly and you're seeing my perspective. Well, the problem with your perspective as a student when you're sharing that video is it's just your perspective. It's edited. You're showing people what you want people to see,
Right.
not necessarily the true raw aspect of it. No matter how much you try to be true and raw, you can't, because it's the nature of being a content creator, and you're always going to go and you're going to, edit it accordingly, right? And even if you're a CFI, you're in the moment, and plus you're a video, you're the creator, so there's a little bit of that. I have the great fortune of not being in any of these videos, so it's my best videos yet.
Everybody will
Because I
watch
didn't
them.
ruin them.
We're going to see Kim in the raw,
You're gonna
is
see
what I'm
Kim
hearing.
in the raw, and so it's Kim in the raw. It's her instructor in the raw, and basically what I've done is I've gotten in her head and I've gotten in the instructor's head, and I would talk to them independently. They didn't hear each other's conversations ever, and so that way, what you're hearing from him is unedited because he doesn't have to worry about being,
Judged.
he doesn't have to choose his words wisely,
Yeah.
to worry about sensitive ears hearing
Yeah.
them, and then vice versa. In fact, there was even a time where she, the thing about flying is this, right? We've all gone through flight training. Those of us that have, well, I don't mean everybody who's watching, but those of us who have, we all know that there's highs and lows, right?
Absolutely.
And the beauty of flight training, the beauty of it all is you can't have a high without a low, right? Otherwise, there would be no highs. You would just be here the entire time.
This is true, actually. Yeah.
And so you learn from your lows, and you learn a lot from your lows. You learn from training-wise, and you learn about yourself. And so the big thing with all this is that I just lost my train of thought.
Well, we're at Airventure, and we've got all sorts of warbirds.
And I know,
I'll
it's
give you an
so
excuse
distracting.
there. Well, you're talking about,
Highs and lows.
well, highs and lows. But the thing that I'm curious about, it sounds like that Kim had to be incredible, and the CFI had to be incredibly transparent and not unfiltered.
Well, and that's just it. And so there was a time where Kim hit a low where she didn't want to film. She didn't want to do any of that. And she's like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, she had hit a low, and that we've all been at. And so I'm sympathetic to how she was feeling. So I'm like, okay, enough of the cameras. It's my job now to help you. But fortunately, the cameras were still rolling.
Oh my gosh.
And
How does that make you feel?
I'm not surprised.
Okay.
So it's one of those like subconscious, I know that was gonna happen, but at the same time it's like, okay, like you want raw, here you go, but I don't know how much of this you're gonna use, because at that point, if I'm so frustrated, it's not, I will let it all out and just blurt everything that I'm feeling
Same.
out,
Same.
like I'm not gonna throttle what I'm gonna say. So there is that subconsciousness of being like, okay, I'm having to kind of talk to the camera and go, I can say what I want to say, but in a straight line, and then you've got me going, here's all my words, and just, oh well.
So let me ask you, what was, if you don't mind sharing, like what was one of those lows?
Yeah.
So one of the lows was, so somehow I love power on stalls versus power off. I've heard that most people like power off stalls better.
I was going to say.
It's a weird thing, but I was really struggling with it. One of the things that I was struggling with mostly is I wasn't getting a high enough nose up attitude fast enough. And I'm holding that yoke back, and I'm not strong enough. So I'm holding it 10, 15, 20 seconds, and I'm like, it's not stalling.
Horn blaring,
It's
but
just
nothing
not
happening.
doing it. And I'm like, I'm failing, and I'm never going to get this, and I'm an epic failure, and I give up, and it was a stall. Like, what, I had just, on my second lesson, I'm landing the plane, and by the way, I was left a center line, but I greased it, and
For the record.
just for the record, just side note, but I can't get a stall, and you just go, I'm supposed to be here because everybody thinks 4 years of flying the Baron, why can't you be? And I'm feeling like I'm down here.
Oh, it's okay. I had a similar experience, but it was with my landings. I was very early on in my training, obviously hadn't soloed yet. I was really struggling with the landings. Went out to Bridgeport one day, did a bunch of 3 landings in a row where I just plopped out, I just wasn't getting it. So I was like, I need a break. Went inside, stopped the airplane, sat down, and I was like, I can't do this. What am I doing with my life? And I don't know what it was, but something in my head clicked after a few minutes of sulking. And I went, I'm Christy freaking Wong. I have overcome so much. And there was just a moment of determination. I literally grabbed my flight bag, went out. Steve was like, where are you going? I was like, get in, loser. We're going flying.
We're doing this.
And I went out, and the next 3 or 4 landings in a row were just perfect. And I soloed a week or two after that. So it was this mental block that I think I had to overcome, and that was a huge moment for me that I've never forgotten.
See, and that's the thing with the video series is that, so was your block a physical block or was it a mental block? And with her, that's the question, right? And I'm not going to give away the answer because the answer is really based on what the viewer thinks, right?
Right, exactly.
Because she feels it's physical, her instructor feels it's a mental issue, and in the video series, we take you along on that, and it's up to you to decide what it actually was.
Right.
And that's what makes this series so different, is that that's the kind of stuff you get to see.
I love that. I love that
It's interpretation, basically, based on what you're seeing, thinking, feeling, and your own experiences.
Right.
My own experiences told me, I was like, I'm a terrible pilot. I'm a non-pilot. I'm not even a pilot
I'm just
yet.
not going to be able to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it's a little bit of both. At least for my situation, it was a partly mental, but once I overcame the mental, I was able to apply that to the physical.
Right.
And then I've been landing amazingly ever since. Yeah, right.
greasing every landing, because that's what you do. And as a
I
pilot,
try.
you grease every landing.
Yeah.
As an editor, I do, yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's funny, even as an ATP now, I've got almost 2,800 hours at this point, and there are times where I've had not great landings, and I go back into that mindset wow, I'm a terrible pilot, but it's easier to overcome now.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that moment, it wasn't as easy, but now it's oh my gosh, I still think about a couple of my really bad landings. They haunt me in my dreams.
It's like that
sometimes.
meme. You've seen the meme, right? The
I
one
wonder if my crappy landing is still thinking about me.
as much as I'm thinking about it, 100. That's the best meme ever.
It
Yeah,
is.
it
It is
absolutely
because
is.
it's so real. I
You're-
think if you're a pilot, it's relatable.
It's so
Yeah.
true. You're just sitting there, and it just hits you. You know the memes where they're like, yeah, like you're just sitting there happy as can be, and then your brain's thinking about this cringy moment you had in like 10th grade or whatever. You're like, oh yeah, remember that time? It's the same thing.
Want to talk about that moment right now?
Pilot
do we need
edition.
to stop the show? And
Well,
Yeah,
we're
right.
talking about mental issues.
Yeah, right. No, but it's the same thing. It's just pilot edition, because bad landings are like those cringy moments where you're just sitting there, you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden your brain's like, hey, remember when you had that super bad landing in February? It's like, why, brain? Why would you do that to me?
All right, so
As you're on short final.
Yeah.
Kim, you talked about the low,
Yeah.
a low point. Tell me about a high point.
So I would say probably one of my high points is when I had to do my solo, because it was also a very low point. I have a runway that is my nemesis. It is runway 4. It is displaced. It does not like me. I do not like it.
And it
It's
spends a
fine.
lot of time thinking about you.
Yes, it does. In my sleep, everything. And
it's actually a true statement. She
It
spent
really-
a lot of time thinking about
yeah.
it.
And all day, it was 2-2, 2-2. I get in the plane, 4. And they're like, I don't care, you're doing it. And I'm like, this is just going to be the most horrible solo if I can even do it. And I got in that plane and I killed it.
Did you make
Oh.
runway 4 your B?
Oh, she did.
Okay.
I did. Yes, I did.
So-
On all 3 landings.
So here's the best part of that whole
Yeah,
story.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she did.
Okay, here we
Yes.
go. Hit me.
So the best part of the whole story is this. So as she said, the 3 landings beforehand to make sure you're good, right? It's all on 2-2, the wind's that way. They go, by the time they park the plane, get out, she starts taxiing out, and she gets to the taxiway, and she turns right, and that's the way to go to 2-2, and all of a sudden you just see her hit the brakes because she's listening to the ATIS. And all of a sudden she hits, and she's like, the winds are 050, I don't know what they were, whatever they were. What do I do? And the instructor's got my transceiver, and he's like, you gotta go to 4. And you just see, like, you can almost imagine, right? Like a poor, like, pathetic little dog, right? This is how the plane moved.
Slow
The plane just does like this. The plane just like
It had the nose down. It was
slowly just, and you can just see, like, she did not, like, it did not want to turn. Just
Are you in a 172?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
Okay, yeah, so I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
I had a very similar experience. Okay, I love the runway now, but runway 17 at Decatur in Texas. I would go out there. It's weird. It's like this weird geographic location. It's kind of this hump. When I was a student pilot, that runway was definitely my nemesis. There's like light poles there. It's like really weird. It's not super friendly when you're like a baby pilot. And when I did my private pilot check ride, I was like, please go to Bridgeport. Please go to Bridgeport. Guess where we went? We went to Decatur.
Yeah.
So I had to do like my soft field and short field and all that on Decatur. But you know what? I made it my B.
There you go.
So, and now I have no problem with the runway. We're friends now.
We're friends, exactly. We are humble with each other.
Okay.
We do not love each other, but we respect each other.
There you go. The
Okay.
respect.
We
I was gonna
respect
say,
each
there you
other.
go. I like
Mutual
it.
respect.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not gonna see each other at dinner parties.
Yes.
Well,
We'll
if
see
you
each other
see each other-
occasionally. We'll nod.
Yeah, in
And then
social
walk away.
situations. Exactly.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yes.
Well, awesome. Okay, guys. Your new series has dropped on your Baron Pilot channel, and you're going to keep the name Baron Pilot. We talked about that, earlier in the year.
yeah.
We should just change it to pilot.
this pilot.
The
all right.
pilot.
The
Yeah.
pilot.
I bet that's not taken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be taken.
Yeah, it can't
No.
be.
No, it's still staying Baron Pilot, even though she's taken over. It'll still remain Baron Pilot. Honestly, it'll remain Baron Pilot at a minimum as long as we own the Baron. And then even if we go and we sell the Baron, I probably will.
You're gonna
start
get a 310
being
next,
Baron
aren't you?
Pilot. How'd you know?
310.
Because he let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah,
did.
exactly.
Yeah, you heard it first. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of Airventure to tell us about the new deal with Kim. And Kim, kudos for being brave and brave not only to do the flight training, but brave in letting the world see unfiltered, transparent Kim.
Yeah,
I know.
I am
I'm so
excited
proud.
to see what this becomes. So there's 2 things. I didn't know that I would feel different being in that left seat. And then when I got in that left seat, I was like, this
This
is
is
a whole
where
new
I belong.
world. Yeah, it sparked a new, even more passion in aviation, and all I could think about was, how can I grow this? What can I do to become somebody that can influence more people to do this? And now I'm trying to figure out ways of doing the girls in aviation and the women in Airventure and women in aviation, and what can I do to get these kids and women in it?
Absolutely. What do you want to do with this? Like once you get your private?
That's the big $1 million question right now, is once I get my single, then I will start doing like pilots and pause, angel flights, and just kind of getting back to the community and getting more people into GA. I want more people in GA.
Absolutely.
So that's what I want. And I do want to say one thing. So I actually got this really cool challenge coin
Nice.
for doing my solo at Sporties. I thought this was the coolest thing that they
Nice.
did when you get your solo.
That is so cool.
I carry it around with me.
See, that's like a thing now. I recently learned about the challenge coins, and now I want to be part of the Cool Kids
Yeah,
Club.
yeah, it is.
So you know what that means, right? You know how challenge coins work. So when we go to a bar, when she slams that
Yeah.
down, since you don't have one,
She has
guess
to
who's buying?
Yeah, she has to slap it down. Exactly. Yeah, I just learned about this like last weekend when we were at Wings Over Whiteside. Like 2 or 3 people had these challenge coins, and I was like, I remember Pogs. I remember this. And no, it's actually different.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Well,
It's
that's
an
awesome.
exclusive
And
club.
plus that challenge coin, you probably should etch Runway 4 in
Exactly.
there.
No,
Because it just
seriously.
makes it even stronger and better.
So when we cut my shirt, my CFI Matt did actually draw the most adorable picture of me landing on 4.
Perfect.
Just a reminder that
Yeah.
that I did it. I made
Perfect.
it.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So for you guys watching out there, I hope that you go to Baron Pilot, that you watch this new incredible series, and if you're not a pilot, I hope it inspires you to become a pilot, to join our aviation community family. So, just got to go watch it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors for helping us get here, and thanks to you guys for supporting us on our channel. If you like what you see, please like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time.
In the hangar.